welcome to our last show in New York. That's true. They're screaming, "Go" at me in my ear. My goodness. Happy Thursday, everybody. Big game, Eagles, Texans, of course. Eric Weddle joining the show. If you have any questions for him, hit me up at Up and Adams Show. We also will have reporters, the best of the beat from the Titans, Bucs, and Vikings, which I'm very excited about. And I heard a rumor that Craig Carton is coming to this makeshift studio. I don't believe it. Do you? Hit me up on Twitter. Seven 7-0 Eagles head to Houston tonight to take on the Texans. Let's be real here for a second. Take your tweets at Up and Adams Show. Like I said, Eric Weddle, Craig Carton joining the Eagles, likely moving to undefeated. Everyone thinks so, at least at this point. But this doesn't mean this one is not going to be interesting. We shouldn't all be watching as a countdown, not just to watch Andrew Whitworth, friend of the show who we love, and we'll talk about with Eric Weddle here in a bit. But there's plenty we can get out of this game. And, you know, there's no gimme here. I watch every NFL game. I was asked that question in an interview this week. Do I watch more or less than 15 hours? So much more. And then you watch it again, and then you watch highlights, and you have to string together your thoughts. And if you look at what's going on, this Eagles team is undefeated. That's exciting enough. And we'll get a look at a new addition on that team, which makes me want to cry because it's, you know, Robert Quinn, who I love. He's an all-pro, great player. He only played 26% of snaps last week as he's sort of trying to get acclimated to a new defense. This is a guy I would sit next to Chris Long, working with him on Amazon for like 3 years. I talked to him, and he would just talk up Robert Quinn all of the time. And no one gave him enough love nationally, but he always kept me interested in him. And they, of course, have a camaraderie that goes back to the old Rams days. But I expect, you know, the numbers and what he's doing to climb, Robert Quinn, and we'll get a sense of like what this addition means to the team. And there was a lot of chatter that the Eagles might make a move for a running back. That's just another thing to look at in this game because they didn't do anything. They stayed and stood firm at the deadline. And what I believe that means is confidence in their Penn State running back, Miles Sanders, who's having a resurgence. So I'd really like to see him break out in tonight's game. This has been the worst run defense in the league. So if you do things over on FanDuel for fun when it comes to these things hours from now, I would look in that direction. And Philly is going to need one Miles Sanders at his absolute best if they want to make a run, and it looks like they do and will, at an entire Super Bowl. We're going to get the best of what's going on around the league, of course, looking ahead. Is this week 9 already? I literally cannot believe that. That's what we're looking at. Hours from now, kickoff to week 9, but let's get into it here. Amie Wells joining us because the Tennessee Titans are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday night. And to preview all of that action, we bring you the best information. She is a Titans sideline reporter, co-host of the official Titans podcast as well. Amie, and friend of Matthew Hamilton, as I understand.
Oh, yes, very much so. It's the whole University of Missouri connection. You're in the club. You're in the group. It's the Mizzou thing.
Yes, it's true. Before we get started, your favorite spot in Columbia, Missouri, go.
Shakespeare's Pizza, and it's not even close. Like, okay. I fly them in to Nashville from Shakespeare's Pizza. Oh, yeah, you fly them in, get them frozen, they deliver them to your door. It's a big deal. You didn't know
amazing.
That?
I had like my body weight in pizza. Yes, I know. I don't know. I think I knew that they did that. I haven't had Shakespeare's in so long. I have to go back. I'm more of like an El Rancho Buches kind of gal. But Shakespeare always had a piece of my heart right there on 9th Street. I lived in the J slums right across the street, right by Chipotle, so I know it very well. Now, okay, let's get into this game. Huge one. The Titans have won 5 straight. I've been banging the drum for this team, not getting the appreciation that it so deserves. So what can you point to as the biggest key to their success during this incredible win streak?
Well, first, we appreciate your support. We appreciate the drum banging. I think the thing that really sticks out about this Titans team is that they find a way to win. Week after week after week, there's some sort of personnel issue. This team has been bit by the injury bug for the second season in a row. And while it's frustrating, Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff is able to, at the beginning of every week, look at who they have and just start coaching them. They just start teaching. And because of that consistent philosophy, because of the way that they teach and really invest in these guys, no matter what the situation is on Sunday, this team is able to dig deep, and win. Listen, a lot of these games haven't been pretty. We know that. There haven't been some big point differentials that really show the Tennessee Titans are dominant, but they're winning. And those W's at the end of the week, that's really what matters, is getting that win. Winning 5 consecutive games is a huge feat in this league. And this Titans team has the heart and the grit to be able to keep going no matter what.
It's so true. And they have the 9th ranked defense this year. They rank dead last in total offense. So we want to see that improve, of course, during this win streak. Ryan Tannehill, he set out with the ankle injury. I'd like an update on him if you have one. He's 34-15 over the course of his 4 seasons there in Tennessee. And if he can't go, it's rookie Malik Willis who will get the start, of course. And he only threw for 55 yards last week. Derrick Henry ran, of course, 200 plus in this one. What are you expecting? What is the update on Tannehill? And what was your biggest takeaway from the debut of Malik?
So the update right now is we don't know. The Titans will go on the practice field here in a couple hours, so we'll know more then. Officially, Ryan Tannehill was limited in practice yesterday. So that could mean a lot of things. We'll kind of see what happens today. Is he limited again? Is he completely off? You know, you're trying to see how he's responding to the work that he did the day before. But, you know, Malik Willis did enough to win the ball game, and that's what you're looking for. He was not afraid in his first showing as a professional quarterback. I mean, think about that. It's a division game. You're a rookie, and now you're starting. He was incredibly calm and poised. What struck me the most on the sidelines during that game was that he wasn't trying to be Ryan Tannehill. He went through exactly the same, I guess, progression. He went through the exact same routine that he went through every single Sunday, no matter what. And I thought that that was very wise for someone who's stepping into a new role in their very first time. He did what he does best. And so I think, yes, there's a lot to learn from. He made some rookie mistakes, but he also improved as the game went on and never made that same mistake twice. So what that says to me is that if his number is called, he's able to keep going.
Right, and I think it'll be interesting because I'm looking at just, you know, watching the Chiefs. They have the 3rd best run defense in the league this year. So I think they're going to have to switch up the game plan. I don't think they'll be able to employ, though Derrick Henry, of course, is a different game-changing running back. But I do believe that they're going to have to throw a little bit more and air it out a little bit more in this one. And it'll be interesting to see Malik Willis or potentially Ryan Tannehill as we await to see who's starting quarterback for the Titans in this game. Quick one for you. Since 2014, the Titans have won 5 of the last 6 matchups with the Chiefs. A bit of kryptonite action going on. Last season, they beat KC 27-3, as we all remember. So is this year's defense sort of capable of repeating that sort of performance against Mahomes?
I think this year's defense is capable of doing just about anything. They're the they're the first best 3rd down defense. I'm shorting my own team here. They're doing great work on defense in all possible ways. And it's going to be exciting to watch them go up against such a strong offense. Jeffrey Simmons is just playing angry, which is so much fun to watch. They've got so much good depth when it comes to the defensive line and what they're able to do. We're excited about having Elijah Molden back on the field. Not sure where he's going to end up. We're watching him as this week progresses, but he's a great asset in that secondary. There's just so many good things that are happening for this defense right now, bringing them out to a team that has such a high-powered offense that's in such a crazy place to play, Arrowhead. It's going to be really fun to watch, and I'm super excited about this contest to be kind of a measuring stick for where this team really is.
Titans at Chiefs. Thank you so much, Amie Wells, the Tennessee Titans sideline reporter. Appreciate you. Mizzou Ra from you to Rick Stroud as we head to Tampa Bay and check in on these Buccaneers ahead of these matchups. That's what we do here on Up and Adams. We bring you the best information, even though I look literally crazy right now. But Rick Stroud, who always looks great and has the best info, joining us from the Tampa Bay Times. Good morning to you, my friend. How are you? The first time in his career, Tom Brady, who also always looks incredible, has a 3-5 record to start the year, which is the opposite of that. So after the Ravens lost last week, you were in that locker room. Take me there. You watched him sit in full pads, sulking in silence, I hear, head in his hand for about 15 minutes. What is your sense now, Stroud, of where Tom is mentally?
You know, I think he's in a better place than he was certainly that night. I mean, I talked to people that covered him in New England. He never did that even after a Super Bowl. So this was really hard to watch. And, you know, when you think about losing 2 games in 4 days, the next day, of course, his divorce was going to be announced and be final. They put out statements about that. So I think it all kind of came crashing down on him a bit. But, really, Kay, this could be a big reset for not just Tom Brady, but also for the Bucs. You're right. He's not been here before. He's never lost this many games, never lost 4 in a row. And here comes the nemesis, right? The Los Angeles Rams that knocked him out of the playoffs last year after that great comeback. So they've had some time now to sort of regroup, getting some players back healthy. But I think Tom Brady could use this sort of as a reset spot for himself as well.
I love you on your podcast. We were listening to it yesterday when we asked you to come on, and you say that he looks like a guy who's saying to himself, I came back for this. I came back for this with how it's looked on the field, and he's thrown just 9 touchdown passes in 8 games. That's, of course, the lowest touchdown ratio in his career. Is it too easy to blame the off-the-field issues and what's going on and what we know? What can you point to as the reason for why Tom and this offense are in disarray?
There's no doubt that he's had something to deal with off the field, and I think it's affected him like it would affect anybody that goes through that, especially that public. But having said that, they've got some issues, and it starts with the offensive line. Look, when you lose a Ryan Jensen the second day of training camp, that's a big loss because in addition to just his experience, he brought a lot of attitude. He brought a lot of that swagger that you need, especially to run the football. So new center in Robert Hainsey, and then the rookie Luke Gedeke has struggled so much. He's injured now, and that gave them an opportunity even before he got hurt to play Nick Leverett, who is a veteran, not as big, but a guy that will really scrap. I thought he played really well in his first full game just the other week against the Ravens. So, I think there's a chance for them, to play better offensively. It's not all on Tom. They've got to run the ball, Kay, and they got to run it not just better, but more frequently.
Thank you. I keep saying this, I don't know why, and it's something that we've seen, Tom Brady do better than anyone in his entire career. He can throw the ball, but he likes to distribute it, and the Bucs throw, my friend, on 68% of snaps. That is the highest rate in the NFL, and it needs to come down. Brady was sacked 3 times last week against the Ravens before self-wallowing and loathing in the locker room. Now this week, they face Aaron Donald. They've got the Rams defense. So what is your biggest concern for Tampa's offense this week?
Well, you said it. I mean, that's just it. Aaron Donald is a game wrecker, and he's right there inside at Brady's feet. That's what bothers Tom Brady and really, frankly, most quarterbacks all the time anyway. So they have to find a way to protect him, and I think running the ball is one way to do that. Leonard Fournette hasn't had a very good start to the season. He had a great game in Dallas. I think you might need to see more of Rachaad White, and they've got to get more speed on the field, to create that space. I mean, what teams are doing is they're playing cover 2. They're putting 8 or 9 guys on the line of scrimmage, and Tom is getting rid of the ball faster than he ever has. And so, you're going to have to find a way to get some explosive plays. And I just think that play action is a way to do it, whether they're successful running it or not, but also use some different players and try to get the most out of your whole roster.
It's so true. And then, we'll let you go, Rick, and we appreciate the time. But then I'm also looking at the defense because, we have a guy who's a Pro Bowler in Shaquille Barrett. He's on IR. We've heard Devin White get a bit of feedback for his effort, right? And this defense, if you look at the numbers, they had the #1 run defense in the NFL for a 3-year stretch. It was a lazy, easy, set it and forget it, Ronco Grill take for me to say, don't run against them. No one's going to be able to run against this team. It is not the case. They rank 24th when it comes to stopping the run this season. We appreciate the time from the Tampa Bay Times. Rick Stroud, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Kay.
He's the best. Thank you. Let's keep it going here with turning our attention to this Minnesota Vikings team that's having the time of their lives and adding more. So let's bring in the host of the Vikings Norse Code podcast at SB Nation, NFL analyst for the Pro Football Network, Arif Hasan. How are you, Arif?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm so good, and we follow your stuff here on the show. I've never got to meet you in person, so I'm super stoked that you're popping on. Can you explain the Twitter handle quickly?
Well, I try to change it every month, and this month I'm taking a stand against turkey. I just feel like there's a lot of better meats that you can have on Thanksgiving. It's a holiday. You got to treat yourself.
You got to treat your... I was going to say, I was in Istanbul this summer. I quite enjoyed it. All right, this year's NFL trade deadline was historic. And one of the biggest trades of the final day was made by said Vikings, getting TJ Hawkinson in our division. You love to see it. How surprised were you and how excited are you?
Oh, I was definitely surprised. I didn't see the Vikings as big trade players in the market, mostly because of the salary cap. I mean, there's a ton of things, they could have done to improve the team. So certainly I thought, hey, if they could make a trade, they should absolutely do it. But, just given how that cap situation was, I was pretty shocked. But they did have a need at tight end. Irv Smith is heading to injured reserve because of his ankle. TJ Hawkinson is just a good player. So if Irv Smith was healthy, wouldn't have been a bad trade anyway. So, yeah, I think that it was a pretty good surprise to see. And then, of course, I'm excited. I think that he's got, all kinds of potential. He's got more yards per game this year in an offense that passes the least that he's ever been in per game. And he's got, 1.87 yards per hour, all those advanced statistics that tell you he's actually having a really remarkable year as a receiver. Now, he used to be a much better blocker than he is now. I was talking to Lions fans that have been a little bit frustrated about it, but I know he's got a great reputation for it. I know he's got a lot of willingness for it. And I know that at Iowa, you have to get, in order to get on the field, you have to block pretty well. So I'm pretty sure that they can find that within him as they kind of design the offense around what he can do.
Right. When you bring in a guy like that and take such a big swing, especially in interdivision, it's so interesting because it just says a lot of things about Kevin O'Connell, what he thinks. You bring in a guy who has to make a difference on offense right away. It just shows what you think about your quarterback. And it's such an interesting case study with Kirk because he's such a perennially polarizing quarterback in the National Football League. The Vikings, though, this year, 5-0 in one-possession games this season. I mean, that was the big glaring headline about this team, that they lost 8 one-score games. I believe that was the thing that haunted them so much. So when I'm looking at Cousins, can he take this team on a Super Bowl run? Because clearly that's what the front office and Kevin think.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings have won games thus far, but you'd kind of want them to win in more emphatic ways, for you to be kind of comfortable in the idea that a Super Bowl run is in the offing, especially if they, want to win that rematch against the Eagles. That would have to happen in the playoffs, or be able to take down the Dallas Cowboys, which would both be in the playoffs and on the schedule. I mean, these top-tier NFC teams might do a number on the Vikings in the ways that the backup quarterbacks that they've been playing against have not been able to. And so for that to happen, Cousins has to play a lot better. I think that he has played pretty well over the past 2 games, but I think overall this year, he's probably having his worst season in a Vikings uniform from a quarterback perspective. Obviously, the wins are kind of nice to have in your back pocket, but going forward, he's going to have to be a little bit more diverse in the way that he approaches the game, not just force the ball to Justin Jefferson. TJ Hawkinson should help with that, and then he's got to be a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, we can't have you on the show, though. They're telling me to go to break, but the reason we have you on is to talk matchups. I wish we would have started there in these interviews, and I apologize. I wanted to talk about Zadarius Smith, of course, who deserves all the love we do give him, or if we give him love on this show, and he's incredible. But I want to ask you, there's a game. Speaking of Kirk Cousins, a nice little revenge situation for him. It'll be interesting. How do they avoid the upset? What specifically do I need to know?
In order for that to happen, that offensive line needs to keep playing at a really high level. I hear Chase Young might be coming back. They already have a really good defensive line. Vikings offensive line's the best it's been in maybe a decade and a half, and it's going to have to stay that way for Kirk Cousins to be upright and find his receivers.
Well said by you, NFL analyst for Pro Football Network. So nice to meet you in person, Arif Hasan. We will, of course, listen to your podcast, and I can't wait to see what your bio says next week.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Or no, next month. Are you changing it? Are you changing it now? Because it's the next month, Arif.
Well, it was changed for this month because of Thanksgiving. We'll see what I do for Christmas.
Oh, don't tell me you hate Santa Claus, too. Arif Hasan will be back after this. It's a little bit of Hammer time. Matt Hamilton's going to break down Jalen Hurts, I do believe. I wish I knew. The prompter's not working. It's going super slow. But I think that's it, right? Jalen Hurts? Arms or legs? Both? Arm! We'll be back. Holy moly. Everyday wins make your day so much better. That's why FanDuel Casino has a daily free-to-play game. FanDuel's reward machine is already given away $5 million in prizes to over 250,000 winners. To get in on all the action, all you got to do is log in daily and spin for a free chance at rewards.
Going deep, makes the catch.
Can't stop the pressure.
Off to the races.
I'm on another level.
A.J. Brown.
It's the rise. Can't stop the pressure yet.
We've got Eagles at Texans tonight. Hey, Megan, I appreciate you. She's on TV. Megan, everyone. Woo. Hammer. He is here for a little Hammer time. Hey, I like that. What do I got to do to get one of those?
I'll
Show
call
up
some
to a
people.
game?
I'll say, yeah, maybe show up to a game
I know.
every now and then.
Listen,
support
I'm
the
in New
team.
York, and I wish that there was a game that I could go to. You guys aren't playing till next week, but we do have a game tonight in the NFL to kick off Week 9. So Jalen Hurts, I keep saying it over and over. If he keeps throwing like this, I think they're winning the Super Bowl. What are we breaking down today? Hammer time.
Yeah, so today I want to look at some of the progress that he's made, show you why he's been taking some steps forward. It's a little bit of his progression as far as identifying what defenses are trying to do to him. But it's also, you know, we think about players progressing. We don't really talk about how coaches progress as well. And Sirianni in his second year, Shane Steichen in his second year as the offensive coordinator working with Hurts, you're seeing this offense continue to evolve. And then obviously the addition of A.J. Brown plays a big factor in that as well. So I'm going to hit the tape right now and show you why this is working so well for the Eagles this year. So this first play, first, you're going to see how Jalen Hurts is able to recognize what the defense is trying to do. You see him identify the two safety look right away, two high safeties. That's going to come into play big time in a little bit. But then the play design, the Eagles love to run RPOs. Everybody knows that. So you're going to see here they make this look like an RPO, the fake to the running back. Then he's going to pump the bubble screen. Watch how those two corners up top, those two defenders up top have their eyes fixed on that bubble. That's going to allow A.J. Brown to climb on top of that corner on the go route, even with the soft cushion. And then look at the trajectory of this ball. It doesn't leave the screen. It's on a rope because he knows he has a too high look. He can't loft this ball or it's going to get intercepted. You have to drill this ball in to get it in there. And that's exactly what he does. The placement is absolutely perfect. The trajectory is perfect. And that's why even an all-pro safety like Minkah Fitzpatrick has no chance to break that one up. And then the play design. We know the Eagles are run heavy. They love to run the football. This is a 1st and 10. They come out in an empty backfield. 2 tight ends on the field, 3 wide receivers, no running back to be found. Devontae Smith is in the slot, running that hitch. A.J. Brown's going to wrap around on a dig in that condensed split look, which creates nightmares for defense. But watch how Jalen manipulates the Steelers' D here. He stares down that route to Devontae Smith. Both DBs are going to break on that hitch. A.J. Brown's going to wrap around right into that perfect window in the middle of the field. And look at how quickly Jalen goes through his progression, resets, and delivers this ball right on the money, allows A.J. to go to work after the catch. This is where he draws the comparisons to T.O., what A.J.'s able to do once he gets the ball in his hands. So it's really the progression we've seen from Jalen Hurts this year. It's a 3-pronged thing. It's his own personal development. It's the development of this coaching staff and the creativity. And it's the addition of A.J. Brown.
Now, are you upset that they didn't make it? I was looking at the numbers, actually. So his completion percentage, like it all bears out. 61% last year, 67% this year. Looking at touchdowns, 16 total, just 2 interceptions. And he's raised his passer rating from 87.2 to 105.1, which is all really impressive. Were you disappointed that they sort of stayed pat on the running back situation? Or you do agree with me that it's just confidence in Miles Sanders? You mentioned that they love to run.
Yeah, I agree with you. I really like Miles Sanders. I think he's got a great skill set. And I think we're seeing him develop and come into his own as well. They have some good backups there with a guy like Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, guys that we've seen them turn to in the past when they've needed to and they've gotten the job done. So I'm okay with them standing pat. I think they have enough in that running back room to get it done. And with the evolution of this passing game, this team is so dangerous.
Who's not getting enough credit? Is it Sirianni? You mentioned coaching development.
Yeah, I think it's Shane. People love Sirianni. Everybody knows that. I think it's
I'm talking about, like, people love him as a character. And a post-game presser. And, like, you think of him and you think, oh, he's taking pictures with people at their wedding. But talk to me about, like, is he that guy?
He is. I really think he is. And I think Shane Steichen deserves a lot of credit, too. You really see how, you know, as we said, like, defenses know they love to run the football. That was their MO last year. And they're playing with that. The way they're playing off of the RPOs that they do, that's such a staple of that offense, and they're able to run some double moves.
They're not going undefeated, though, Hamilton. They're not doing it.
I was looking at the schedule last night, like, it's not the toughest schedule. Like, I feel like they'll probably slip up at some point. Everybody does, but, like, they'll have a chance with the way that they're playing right now.
Care to make a wager over at FanDuel Sportsbook?
Well, that's the thing. There are a couple wagers that I like tonight off of this game, actually.
Really?
A.J. Brown's line is 69.5 yards. I know we might see them run a ton against the Texans, especially if they get up early against a bad Texans run defense, but I like the over the 69.5 yards. And the total points in this game, 45.5 points. I like the over on that as well.
We're going over in this. Oh, I don't know about that. Buddy.
I know Thursday night it's tough to go over sometimes. Sometimes these teams start off a little slow, but I just think this, with the way this Eagles offense is playing against a struggling Texans defense, I like the Eagles. I like AJ over, and I like the total points.
I like the positive vibes. I'm going to keep the positive vibes going with some K-makers, right? This is what we like to do. And this is what I'm good at. Like, you know, the parlays, maybe not so much. But if you need to find someone that you think is going to get in the end zone, I've got you covered. And I pretty much get this right every week. I'm going to go with Austin Eckler. He's just touchdown mania right now. 8 in his last 4. And the Falcons defense, a little bit messy lately. Grady Jarrett, we love you. Aaron Jones, how about him? I think he might just be on my list every week. Is that kind of a gimme? Because the Packers have figured out they need to run the ball more. Like, Brady and them should look at what the Packers are doing. They're finally figuring it out. And he had 157 yards on 24 touches against a tough Bills defense. And now he's got the Lions, who are, you know, gift wrapping a nice little bow, like, you know, Mr. Bean in Love Actually, putting some, like, stuff on it. A really gorgeous situation for fantasy owners and sports bettors over at FanDuel Sportsbook. And I'm going to say Tyreek Hill, okay?
It's time.
Do you agree? It's time, right? Thank you. Okay, he's been crushing it, but guess the last time he scored a touchdown? Week 2. Maybe he scores 2. That's what I do. I pick these K-makers. At least one of them always scores multiple touchdowns.
It is true. And
Yeah.
I think the coaching staff, they know that. They know he hasn't scored since week 2. He's been crushing it otherwise, putting up a ton of yards. I feel like as a coaching staff, you try to manufacture a way to get a guy like that a touchdown.
Yeah, so they're going to make a concerted effort to give Tyreek Hill the ball against my measly Bears this weekend. So what do you make of my K-makers? You like them?
I love them. I'm all in. I think you go 3 for 3 again. I think it was 3 for 3 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
2 for 3 last week. I think you go 3 for 3 again.
Do you think this is the day that Eric Weddle unseats the protester running on the field hit by Bobby Wagner as the most gritty play in NFL 2022 history?
I took a little sneak peek. I think we got some contenders to do it.
Stop, do you really?
I really do.
If you were on FanDuel Sportsbook, would you guess that I took a sneak peek?
No.
No, I did not.
I put
That's
everything
why.
against that.
That's right. Eric Weddle is joining the show after this. Very excited. Eric, the protester. Bobby Wagner, is it over? Has the rain ended? It looks like what? That looks like a guy who made a banana chocolate sandwich this morning.
Turning it up, hey, we're fighting the time. It's never enough. I ain't need that with a shine. I'm all in my zone. I'm all in control. I'm whipping the sauce. I'm out of the cost. I'm bringing it home. Turning it up, turn 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 up, turning it up.
Chargers, Ravens, Rams, safety in the league. A pretty Super Bowl ring somewhere in that beautiful background studio. Our dear friend Eric Weddle joining us. Welcome to my makeshift studio in New York. Hey, Eric.
I like that. I like it a lot. I got to come visit.
Yeah. It's you know what I would call it? I'd say it's pretty high on the grit list. This place, this place that I am. I have a feeling some things get filmed here that just should not be. That's what I'll just say. That. All right. I need to get something out here into the world. Yeah. Listen. Whitworth, Andrew.
Yes.
Andrew told us that we should not show this. That we should not show this to you. So we, of course, are going to show this to you. This is his wife's Halloween costume. Your thoughts?
You know, I love Mel.
She's dressed as Andrew Whitworth, I believe.
Yeah, I see that. I would stick for Mel just being her beautiful, amazing self and not replicate that look ever again.
We loved it. He did not want to get you going on it, which is great. All right, we need a mid-season update. We were in our morning meeting and we said, what's going on in Rancho Bernardo, which, by the way, doesn't sound like a real place. How is the team doing, Coach?
Bernardo. Jeez.
Bernardo. Oh, see? They said Bernardo.
Hey, hang in there. We're good. We got a playoff game on Friday. And my youth team, we lost in the semis, unfortunately. We just didn't get it done.
No.
Yeah. So, you know, on to the next challenge. So once this game on Friday, if we win, we continue on. If we lose, then Eric Weddle officially takes over the high school. So I'm excited for that.
We love to hear it. Our graphics team got it right. They put Bernardo. It's okay. I just fired everybody else that said Bernardo. I go, that doesn't sound like a real place. All right, we had plenty of action before the trade deadline on Tuesday. You have survived many a trade deadline, of course, and there were a ton made, the most in league history, actually. So if we take a look at two on the defensive side, we had linebacker Roquan Smith, who went from my Bears to your promising Super Bowl contending Ravens. So how much was he needed, and how does he improve the team right off the bat?
Well, it just gives a dynamic force in the middle to pair with Patrick Queen. And, there's just something to be said about a personality, a guy that can make plays all over the field, whether it's rushing the passer, in the pass coverage, stopping the run, TFLs, forced fumbles. Like, he just brings that force that we're needed since C.J. Mosley left, quite honestly. And to bring that alpha male to bring everyone together, I think it's a great addition. He'll fit right in there with the culture and play like a Raven. It means something, and I'm excited to see what he brings, and hopefully give that defense another element to push this team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, is this a division title ceiling win, right? They're leading the AFC North, not by a lot, by a little smidge. Does an addition of a guy like Roquan sort of solidify this playoff run?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big picture, not just for this season, but moving forward, helps this defense and helps the culture, helps the team moving and getting back to top flight defense. And honestly, I thought before the trade, they were the best team in the AFC North. Cincinnati's still finding their way. They're obviously a team to be reckoned with, but I think it's their division as long as they continue to play the way they're supposed to play.
Yeah, Pro Bowl edge rusher Eric Bradley Chubb, he gets traded from the Russell Wilson-led Broncos to this really hot Miami Dolphins team that we all want to. Yeah, super wild. I mean, he just signed a 5-year extension for over $111 million. They have the 11th fewest sacks in the league so far. So how much of a difference maker is Bradley?
Yeah, I mean, ever since that injury, it's been a process of getting back to where he was before the injury, and you see him slowly coming along. He's got 5.5 sacks this year, being the difference maker that he was for the Broncos. You can foresee that with the Dolphins, just the amount of opportunities they're going to get with pass drops and being down, with the way Miami plays offensively and being up and scoring and big plays. So you got to envision him having a huge impact and kind of giving that boost, a lot like the Rams last year with adding Von Miller to the defense and giving them another edge presence and a guy that could take the heat off of AD at times, and just seeing how that affected the Rams last year and led them all the way to the Super Bowl. So you're hoping you get that kind of benefit from having Chubb on the team now.
Yeah, sorry if you hear that. That's, Sons of Anarchy. The forgotten season is filming outside.
Well, hey, fun fact. Would you have known that I was on an episode of Sons of Anarchy?
I would guess, honestly. If you're really asking me, that doesn't surprise me at all. Wait, what episode?
Geez, I think there was 8 seasons. So season 7, when the clubhouse blew up. I was in the clubhouse, hanging out with everybody. I was from up north, and I had my own what is it called? The vest. Anyways, it was great. The guys were great. I don't even know, the vest.
Wait. Well, that's pretty gritty. Let me ask you this. Tonight, Texans, Eagles. I want to ask you, let's say you're on the Texans, a team doesn't have anything to lose, but you're going up against an undefeated squad. What are you saying to your guys before this game in the locker room?
Well, I mean, regardless of record, your resume is what you put on film, and that is who you are. You have to represent. At the end of the day, you have to represent yourself and the name on the back of that jersey. You are playing for your organization. You are playing for your teammates, but you have a bigger picture and understanding that you are what you put on film. So there should never be an instance you go into a game and you're not all in trying to beat whoever you're playing, regardless of how good they may be or the records. It doesn't matter. There's a pride factor. So I would just focus on the little details and the techniques and how we're going to play certain coverages, how we're playing formations, what's the plan for A.J. Brown, et cetera. Try to limit the big plays. But at the end of the day, you just got to go out there and play and hit the guy in the other colored jersey and let the pieces fall where they be.
And it's as simple as that, from Eric Weddle to that Texans locker room's ears. All right, let's hit it. We do this every week. It's time. I'm excited for it. It's the
Grit list. Grit list. Here we go. We got the previous 3 from last
week's.
Go ahead. Yep. B-Wags, the
All
Nick
right,
Chubb
Bobby
run,
Wagner.
and then Tua scramble and truck. I think we may have a newcomer to the list. We'll have to see. Starting out the trifecta with Christian McCaffrey, the new addition to the Niners. Unbelievable game he had. Not only receiving touchdown, throwing touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. The last one to do that was an old teammate of mine, LaDainian Tomlinson. I think only 4 in the history of the NFL have done it. I could be wrong, but you can fact check me on that. But just an unbelievable game, an unbelievable talent. Grit to the T. Here we got PJ Walker right here with the game on the line, sidestepping 67 yards dimer with the game on the line. Unbelievable throw, unbelievable clutchness, unbelievable grit to get hit, to be able to give his team a chance. This game was probably one of the top games I watched all weekend. The back and forth, the missed field goals, the guy taking selfies before the game and then happens to miss the field goals late in the game. Probably not going to be doing that anymore. You got to learn from those kinds of mistakes, but unbelievable grit right here.
Unbelievable grit. So let's take a look at the next one.
Yeah, finally. We saw this earlier. A.J. Brown 3 touchdowns and a half, but now to make matters worse, to point at the 2 defenders for saying, hey guys, you had no chance of taking me out. You can try as hard as you want, but I am the man. I have too much grit for you guys, too much toughness, too much physicality. It's my day, and man, what a play. What a game. Whew. We got a new one.
To play tonight, but we got
a new one. McCaffrey enters the mix. I still got number 1 at B-Wags. It's got to take a hellacious effort to take him off the throne. But McCaffrey gets in there just by something. He did history, and history is grit to me. So
somebody's got to do it. I want somebody from the Texans squad to make the grit list and unseat the Bobby Wagner intruder of the turf on the field for this next week. So if you guys see something, let us know which play you think deserves a spot on next week's list. But it is unseated. But we love to see Christian McCaffrey balling out there for his new team.
Yeah, we do. We love seeing good ball. We respect good ball. And as someone that loves the game, you got to love watching that.
You know what I love watching? I was a Sons of Anarchy fan. I watched it. I really did. And I did not notice that you were there when the clubhouse blew up. But our quick
wow, that was quick.
Found this. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was good times. I was on set for like 12 hours, and luckily the actors were really nice, and we just got to hung out with Charlie Hunnam and all the guys. They were really super cool, and definitely never want to be an actor, but it was kind of a cool experience to be on the show in that moment. It was like a cool moment for the whole cast and whatnot.
You were the person. If I were to pick, somebody were to ask me, guess which NFL legend ever was on the Sons of Anarchy set, it literally would be Eric Weddle. No one's guessing Andrew Whitworth. I'm telling you.
Probably not. I don't even know if they make motorcycles big enough for that guy.
The shade. We love it. All right. We love you so much, Eric Weddle. Appreciate you. Good luck with San Bernardo. Is that right? No, Rancho Bernardo. Rancho Bernardo. We'll be back from New York after this. Bye, Eric.
Love you.
It's a mess. I know. I'm firing myself after today. It's fine. A scenic? A scenic of what? Oh, Jesus.
I'm Joaquin Jaime, and my best bet in the Breeders' Cup is going to come on Saturday in race number 9. That is the Breeders' Cup Distaff. I like the 4-horse in there, Clairiere, who was 4-1 on the morning line. So if she stays at that price, a $2 win bet on her is going to get you $10 back. Download the FanDuel app, and new players can bet the Breeders' Cup with a $100 no-sweat first win bet.
All right, joined now by the co-host of Carton and Roberts on New York's #1 sports radio station, WFAN. He also hosts the Carton Show on Fox Sports 1. Please welcome the one and only Craig Carton.
By the way, these lights are blinding right now.
And they're
like,
white.
I'm going to walk out of here, I'm going to be tan.
They're white.
It's going to be great. This is an amazing apartment you have here.
Yeah, what do you think?
The pool over there.
What do you think goes on here?
I know what goes on here. Yeah. Yeah, it's like Scream 9.
It's so true. It's like Final Destination. You know, it's a show that you do with Evan Roberts, but he didn't talk much yesterday when I was on the show.
Because
really
he's intimidated by you.
It's just your show.
Well, no, it's Carton and Roberts. Carton and Roberts, like a law firm.
It's like Carton.
You have to understand, Evan is probably the best straight sports guy in America. He was intimidated by you. I'm not intimidated by you.
I'm not intimidated by you.
Nor should you be. Like, look at me. I'm a mess. I have makeup on. I'm middle-aged. I was knee-deep in a burger. You sent the car to the wrong address.
I know,
you dropped me off at the wrong address.
I just want to make sure you're getting your cardio.
I just ran 3 city blocks.
I thought you were needing some cardio after that burger.
No, I definitely
care
need cardio.
about you.
I appreciate
That's
that.
what it is.
So
we're
kind.
family now.
It's
we
like
look like we're going to go to off somebody after the show here downstairs. Question, Jets, Zach Wilson takes. What's the fan base feeling? How are you feeling?
That he's not an NFL quarterback. I mean, it's a sad thing. Like, we keep convincing ourselves that Zach Wilson's the guy. And then every week that he proves to us he's not the guy, we just complain about it. It's like being in, I don't know if you've any experience with this, in a bad relationship. No, I swear to God, he loves me. He loves me. He bought me flowers yesterday. And then you see him, like with a hooker, on 42nd Street the next day, and he proves to you again and again he doesn't love you. Well, that's Zach Wilson and the Jet fans.
So what are we doing with it? What are we doing?
We're going to pretend that he's great. We're going to support him. They're going to lose by 40 to the Bills on Sunday. And then we have 2 weeks, because the bye week's right after that. We have 2 weeks to yell and scream about how much we need a quarterback. Okay. And that's what we're going to do, because it's really what we as New Yorkers do best. We complain. You complain. Yeah. Okay, well, there is that. And we have, your show to look forward to every day. Is there anything else you want to talk about? You said I can ask you anything. Ask me whatever you want. This is your show. I want to ask you. I said I would come here. I'm here. You are here. You have 4 minutes left. I did. Probably more like 2. Make the most of it. More like 2. He's going to be so mad. We only have a couple of minutes left. No, we're going over. I told FanDuel we're going over. he called Amie. He called Amie. We have 7 minutes from now. Great. Yeah, killed the break. Oh, we killed the. Thank you. Craig Carton walks in and we kill breaks? Yeah, I'm special. We're losing advertising dollars for some, It's just FanDuel commercials. I mean, that's the advertising, isn't it? I don't know. I want to ask you, what's your all-time favorite sports moment as a New York fan? Oh, Game 6, '86. I'm old enough to have seen it. There's a story I really can't tell on your show. But well, you mentioned hookers, so I think we're okay. I was at an Orthodox Jewish kid's house. Okay. In New Rochelle, New York, where I'm from. New Row. Okay, and there's a dozen of us there. It's Game 6, 1986. And a buddy of mine, I won't say his last name, named Jason, he was there with his girlfriend. And for some reason, they both disappeared into the bathroom. Oh, wow. About 20 minutes before Mookie Wilson hit the little dribbler that got by Bill Buckner. And the moment was perfect because when we jumped up and yelled, yes, the Mets win, he was yelling something else. He was. And then 9 months later, did they name the baby Mookie? Or what was the situation there? They should have, yes. No. He took care of that. Oh, my God! Carton! No, before they did it. The guy asked the rest of us. We're in high school at the time. I can't. I don't know. I can't. We were just in high school trying to enjoy Game 6. That's all we were doing. I'm going to give you 2. Does anybody have saran wrap and a rubber band? Oh, my God. I'm going to give you. What are you talking about? I'm so glad we blew off our commercial break for that. That was great. I'm going to give you 2 very New York-themed things. You have to pick between which one's more New York, which one's better, okay? Let's do it. Better New York pizza, Joe's or Spumoni Gardens? Well, L&B Spumoni Gardens is best square pie in all of New York. Okay. Now, if you want to go to Bleecker Street and get some pizza there, John's on Bleecker Street is the best. No Joe's. No, I don't even know who Joe's is. Who's Joe?
Oh, we got claps.
Some random guy
from
named
over
Joe.
here. I love
There's
Joe's
two great
pizza
pizza
slice.
places amongst great pizza places.
Okay.
L&B Spumoni Gardens in Brooklyn.
Delicious.
Square pie.
Of course.
All right? And then there's John's on Bleecker Street, which is the best round pie
But you can't
in
just
New York
get
City.
it. You can't just get it and walk with it with the paper plate. You got to go
No,
in
you
there,
you can't get slices there.
I know, but
You gotta get
so
a
what's
pie.
the best slice?
Well, I mean, I don't view
You
it
don't
that
care.
way. No.
All right, you don't
Maybe
view
you
it
just
that
need
way.
friends.
Well, you're eating cheeseburgers at
I was.
11 a.m.
I was knee-deep on Route 66, about 10 blocks from here, eating a burger, waiting for the FanDuel car to arrive. Lo and behold, he was sitting there for a half hour.
That's not me.
I just didn't know.
You see what I deal with here? I could barely find you yesterday.
Yes.
All right, where is Aaron Judge playing next year, Yankees or Mets?
Yankees.
Yankees.
Yeah, I mean, how do you let him go, right?
I don't know. I told
But
you I
at the
saw him
same
on
point, I
Saturday.
would say, how do you pay Aaron Judge or any baseball player, $300-400 million?
I don't know.
So it's a weird rub, right? Like, they have the money. It's not my money. Spend it.
Right.
That's why I find it weird when people go, I wouldn't give that player that money.
Yeah.
Why? It's not your
in
money.
football, it's different because we're
trust me,
talking about longevity.
The Yankees make plenty of money.
Yeah.
So go spend it all.
Go spend all of your money on Aaron Judge. All
Do
right.
I look fat? Can you get that
No,
side
I
shot
do.
again?
Stop.
I felt like I looked a little fat there in the jowls.
More iconic Italian restaurant, Rayo's or Carbone?
All right, it's a tough thing because Carbone is, it's a tough call. Carbone's, stop. That's what tourists say, all right? And you can't get into Rayo's, so you wouldn't know about that either. Now, if you need me to take you to Rayo's.
I've never been to Rayo's.
Of
Can we
course
go
you
next
haven't,
time?
right.
I've never
I'm
gone.
happy to take you to Rayo's.
Okay, thanks.
The thing about Rayo's, it's great Italian food, but it's Italian food. Like, we make such a big deal about who's got the best rigatoni bolognese.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your grandma, my sister, we all make great rigatoni bolognese. So I think we sometimes get a little crazy. I view it this way. Italian food and Chinese food, it ain't that hard to mess it up.
Okay.
To do it well, I should say, right?
Okay.
Like, we make a big deal about what's the best rigatoni.
But it's all delicious.
Who makes
Shut
the
up and
best
eat it.
right? It's Chinese food. It's Italian food.
It's a good take.
Like, who's got the best gravy? Who's got the best sauce?
Yeah.
It's crushed tomatoes.
Yeah.
They're good.
I know who's got the best New York sports show, and that is you guys
true.
every day on WFAN.
There's really no competition.
It was so fun to be there, but I will ask you the next question. Best quarterback, Boomer or Phil Simms, New York style?
Phil Simms.
Phil Simms is.
Yeah.
Do you have a reason
It's
for
funny
it?
when Boomer and I first got the show together back in 2007, and WFN came to me and they said, we have this legendary New York quarterback, been to a Super Bowl, everybody loves him. I got so excited because I thought I was working with
Carton.
Phil Simms.
Carton.
And then they go, no. The other one. He went to Super Bowl but lost his. And, you can imagine my disappointment finding out that I was working with Boomer and not Phil. But we kind of grew into it, and I have great respect and love for my former partner.
How are you in Boomer? Do you speak? Do you guys speak?
Peaches and herbs.
Peaches and herbs, so
Yeah.
they go together well.
Like reunited. Exactly
Reunited,
right.
yeah. So you guys
and
are
Boomer
good.
and I are great.
Good.
So
I'm
we have our
happy.
moments.
That's good.
I disappointed him, which is something I do very well to people in my life. But we're good. We're straight. I'm blessed to be back doing what I do. He continued hosting a successful show, and he's upset with me because he once gifted me a Ford F-150 Raptor out of friendship, and I needed lunch, so I sold it. And he was very upset with me that I sold the car he gave me, but I had to eat.
This is a true story?
True story, yeah.
Oh, wow.
But outside of that, we're great.
Well, we love to hear that, and I love that they obviously have respect for him, and you can joke.
He's
but you're
awesome.
both killing it respectively, which is
Yeah,
amazing.
listen, I put him in a very bad spot a few years ago, and I own that. But he was a very close, loyal friend, did some good things for me behind the scenes that no one else would know about. And we're good, and I'm happy that he's still successful.
And he's a FanDuel partner as well, so
And
he's in the entire family,
Yes,
which is
he
why I want to
is.
make sure everything's great. And
Every
it sounds
Sunday,
like
you could see his over-under.
Yes, and I love
Something
that.
like
Better New York personality, last one, Francesca or Mad Dog? Iconic vibe. None? Is it you? You're better than them both, right?
No, I'm not that guy. Yes, I'm not that guy. I would never say that.
Okay.
I lean towards Mad Dog, but Mike and I also personally don't like each other.
Why? Mike won't come on my show.
We only have 60 seconds left.
Really? You and Francesca
Mike
don't
didn't come on your show?
No, I think what we tried to get, but I don't have any access to
He said
Mike.
no.
I don't have any access to him, though. You do.
I'll
you
give
know,
you his
I don't
phone
know
number
him.
right now if you want.
Oh, I don't think he'd want. I think he'd be really mad
They asked
at you.
him to be. HBO did a documentary on my story, and as the story goes, the producers reached out to him to be a part of it, thinking that he would just unload on me.
Right.
And he wrote back 2 words: no chance.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Well, we need to fix that. That's what we're hearing.
No, we don't.
This is a nice Oprah setting. Everything's really, really nice and gorgeous. Okay, what are you doing this weekend before we go? I think we have, like a minute left?
I built a chicken coop, so I'll be hanging out with the chickens.
Is that true?
Yes, in the backyard. And now that my son's high school football career ended last Saturday, we'll get back to him telling me how out of shape I am, which means I'll probably be working out at some point this weekend and playing with my chickens.
Well, we love it. I don't even know how to wrap that. He has chickens and a chicken coop. This is Craig Carton, a carton full of Craigs, is what I was saying earlier today.
I'd like to come back for a much longer interview.
He's so mad. He's so mad. You can anytime.
We gotta go. See you later.
We do.
Peace
Sorry,
out.
bye.